Have you ever wondered who the wisest person in history was? Well, many would argue that the title belongs to King Solomon. This isn't just an opinion formed out of thin air, but rather it's steeped in fascinating tales and accounts of Solomon's unparalleled wisdom and extraordinary decision-making skills. Now, you might be wondering, what does a king from ancient times have to do with the fast-paced, ever-changing world of business today? The answer is simple. Wisdom is timeless. And the wisdom of King Solomon? It's a goldmine of insight for modern business leaders navigating the complex landscape of commerce. King Solomon wasn't just a figurehead. He was a leader, a decision-maker, a negotiator, and an innovator. During his reign, he faced a multitude of challenges and dilemmas, not unlike the ones modern business leaders face today. From disputes over rightful claims to diplomatic endeavors, Solomon was always at the helm, steering his kingdom with wisdom and grace. Take, for instance, the famous story of the two women who both claimed to be the mother of a baby. Solomon, with his astute understanding of human nature, proposed a shocking solution: to cut the baby in half and give each woman a share. It was the true mother's selfless protest that revealed her identity. Solomon's fair judgment uncovered the true motivations behind the women's claims, much like how today's leaders must discern the intentions behind actions in the business world. But Solomon's wisdom didn't stop at fair judgment. He was also a master negotiator and diplomat, a visionary in resource management, and an architect of a prosperous economy. His strategies and methods hold valuable lessons for today's entrepreneurs and business leaders. So here's to unlocking the wisdom of King Solomon, a legendary figure whose insights continue to resonate with us thousands of years later. Let's delve into the wisdom of King Solomon and see how it applies to modern business. Prepare to be amazed as we journey back in time, unearthing timeless guidance for today's business leaders. Ever heard of the story of the two mothers? This tale is one of King Solomon's most well-known judgments, and it's packed with insights that are as applicable today as they were in Solomon's time. Picture this: two women, both claiming to be the mother of the same baby, stood before Solomon, pleading their case. In a surprising turn of events, Solomon proposed a seemingly harsh solution: to cut the baby in half, giving each woman a part. The crowd gasped, but Solomon was not intending to harm the child. He was simply laying a trap to reveal the true motivations of these women. One woman agreed to this drastic measure, but the other, the true mother, immediately offered to give up her claim to save her child's life. And with that, Solomon had his answer. He gave the baby to the woman who showed genuine selflessness, instantly revealing her as the true mother. This story isn't just an ancient courtroom drama. It's a lesson in fair judgment and understanding motivations. A lesson that's especially valuable in the business world. As leaders, we often find ourselves in situations where we have to make tough decisions, where not everything is as it seems, and where understanding the motivations of those around us is crucial. Much like Solomon, we should strive to see beyond the surface, beyond what's presented to us. We need to delve deeper to uncover the real motivations driving those we interact with, be they employees, partners, or competitors. This understanding can provide valuable insights, helping us to make decisions that are not only fair but also beneficial for our organizations in the long run. It can help us identify who is genuinely invested in our company's success, who is willing to make sacrifices for the greater good, and who is merely serving their own interests. Just like Solomon, making fair decisions and understanding people's motivations are key to successful leadership. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about making decisions, it's about making the right decisions. And to do that, we need to understand the people we are leading, just as King Solomon did. What can a visit from a queen teach us about business? Let's delve into a fascinating tale from the life of King Solomon, the one involving the Queen of Sheba. Imagine this: a powerful queen hears tales of a king's wisdom and wealth. Intrigued, she embarks on a journey to meet him, carrying a caravan full of gold, spices, and precious stones. This queen is the Queen of Sheba, and the king she seeks is none other than Solomon. Upon her arrival, Solomon doesn't merely show off his wealth and power. Instead, he engages in meaningful conversations with her, answering her complex questions with grace and wisdom. He's not just a king showcasing his kingdom, he's a thoughtful leader sharing his insights and understanding. The queen is so impressed by his wisdom and the prosperity of his kingdom that she praises him, acknowledging his achievements and the happiness of his people. Now, you might be wondering, what does this ancient story have to do with modern business? Well, it's all about effective communication and collaboration. Solomon's interaction with the Queen of Sheba wasn't a one-way street. It was an exchange of ideas, a mutual respect, and an understanding that led to a strong alliance. As business leaders, this is what we should aspire to. Not just transactions, but meaningful interactions. Think about it. When you communicate effectively, you're able to convey your ideas clearly, understand others, and foster a spirit of collaboration. Like Solomon, you create an environment where everyone feels valued and heard. And when people feel heard, they're more likely to contribute their best work. This leads to innovative ideas, stronger teams, and ultimately, a more successful business. Effective communication and collaboration aren't just about getting your point across. They're about listening, understanding, and building relationships. They're about creating a culture where everyone feels empowered to contribute their unique ideas and perspectives. This is what Solomon did with the Queen of Sheba, and look at the impact it had. So let's take a leaf out of Solomon's book. Let's strive to communicate effectively, collaborate sincerely, and build strong relationships. Because in the end, effective communication and collaboration, as demonstrated by Solomon, are cornerstones of successful business. How did Solomon manage to bring tremendous wealth to his kingdom? King Solomon was not only known for his wisdom, but also for his extraordinary ability to manage resources. He was a visionary, always one step ahead, with his eyes fixed firmly on the future. He understood that the prosperity of his kingdom depended not only on the wealth of today, but also on the strategic planning for tomorrow. Solomon was a master of resource allocation. He meticulously planned each construction project, each trade agreement, and each investment, ensuring that resources were spent wisely. He knew that waste was the enemy of wealth, and that effective resource management was the foundation of a prosperous economy. He was also a keen strategist, always thinking about the long-term impact of his decisions. For instance, Solomon's monumental construction projects were not just about building grand structures. They were strategic investments meant to boost the kingdom's economy and elevate its status among neighboring nations. His trade agreements were carefully crafted, ensuring that they were mutually beneficial. Solomon understood that a good trade is not about exploiting the other party, but about creating a win-win situation. This approach not only generated wealth, but also fostered good relationships with other nations, further securing his kingdom's future. Now you may ask, how can we apply Solomon's principles in our modern businesses? Just like Solomon, we need to strategically plan for our businesses. We need to allocate our resources effectively, ensuring that every dollar is spent wisely. We need to think long-term, considering the future impact of our decisions. We need to negotiate win-win agreements, fostering good relationships with our partners. But most importantly, we need to be visionaries, always looking ahead, always planning for the future. We need to understand that our business's success depends not only on the profits of today, but also on the strategic planning for tomorrow. Just as Solomon did, we can strategically manage our resources and plan for the future to create successful businesses. So, what can we learn from King Solomon's wisdom? As we've journeyed through the narratives and lessons from King Solomon's life, it's clear that his timeless wisdom still holds valuable insights for today's business leaders. The principles that guided his decision-making and leadership are as relevant now as they were in the days of his prosperous reign. Let's revisit the key points made throughout this exploration. Solomon's wisdom in fair judgment, as illustrated in the story of the two mothers, underscores the importance of discernment and understanding motivations in our business dealings. It reminds us that a leader must often see beyond the surface into the heart of the matter. Moving on to Solomon's interaction with the Queen of Sheba, we saw a prime example of effective communication and collaboration. His diplomatic prowess, coupled with his wisdom, left a lasting impression on the Queen and cemented a valuable alliance. The takeaway for modern leaders: building strong relationships through gracious and effective communication is a cornerstone of successful business. Lastly, we delved into Solomon's visionary approach to resource management. His strategic planning, resource allocation, and long-term vision brought prosperity to his kingdom. For today's business leaders, this translates into the necessity of forward-thinking strategies and sustainable practices. In essence, King Solomon's wisdom is a treasure trove of guidance for modern business leaders. His principles of fair judgment, understanding motivations, effective communication, collaboration, and strategic resource management are not just lessons from the past, but a blueprint for the future. So as we wrap up, remember that the wisdom of the past has the power to shape the future. Let's apply these timeless lessons to our businesses and watch them thrive. Thank you for watching. If you found this valuable, subscribe to our channel for more insights. Together, we can unlock the wisdom of the past to shape a better future for our businesses.